Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving deep into Empty Planet, the shock of global population decline today.
Oh, interesting choice.
It's by Darrell and John Ibbitson,
Okay. Yeah.
and we'll be exploring what a shrinking planet means for all of us.
Right now, one.
Yeah, right now and in the coming decade.
Yeah, it's a big shift that's, well, not really making headlines yet,
Not yet, no.
but, it will have massive implications
Absolutely.
in the years to come, definitely.
So, I think for a lot of us, we grew up with this idea of overpopulation.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, that was the big fear.
Hmm.
But Bricker and Ibbitson, they kind of turn that on its head.
They really do, yeah.
They're saying, forget overpopulation.
Yeah.
The planet's population is actually going to decline.
It is.
And faster than we think.
And faster than we think, yeah.
And they point to declining fertility rates worldwide as the major cause.
Yeah, and that's really, that's really the crux of it.
So what makes this so groundbreaking? Why should we care about this?
Well, I mean, it challenges a fundamental assumption about human civilization
Okay.
that will just keep growing indefinitely.
Right.
It impacts everything. I
Yeah.
mean, from economics and geopolitics to the environment,
Oh.
even the way we think about family.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does kind of touch everything.
So the book highlights urbanization as a big driver of this decline.
Yeah.
Cities are expensive. Kids aren't needed for farm labor anymore.
Right.
And, it seems like urban life just kind of leads to smaller families.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a correlation there.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely a factor.
Yeah.
Cities, I mean, they change the equation when it comes to cost of living
Mm-hmm.
and even social norms.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Right.
we also have to consider the access to education
Yeah.
and opportunities that cities offer,
Okay.
especially for women.
Especially for women.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's all kind of tied together.
In the excerpts you shared, there's this powerful example from the Philippines. As more Filipinos move to cities and women's rights advance, fertility rates are plummeting.
They are. It's pretty traumatic.
Yeah. Is this a global phenomenon?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's happening in the developing world as well.
Wow.
The book argues that as women gain more rights,
Right.
education,
Mm-hmm.
and economic power, they're choosing to have fewer children.
That's a huge shift
It is.
with both positive and potentially challenging implications.
For sure.
I can see how this could be empowering for women,
Right.
but are there societal pressures
Oh, absolutely.
that complicate things?
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a simple black and white issue.
All right.
While it signifies progress in gender equality,
Uh-huh.
societal expectations
Mhm.
and economic realities
Okay.
still weigh heavily on family planning decisions for women.
Globally, yeah.
Worldwide, yeah.
Yeah. So fewer babies, fewer consumers.
Right.
The book points to Japan as a cautionary tale,
Yeah, it's a good example.
where population decline has contributed to economic stagnation.
It really has.
What are the long-term economic consequences?
Well, a shrinking workforce
Yeah.
means fewer people contributing to the economy
Okay.
and supporting a growing elderly population.
Right.
And that, that puts a strain
Yeah.
on social safety nets
Mhm.
and government budgets.
So that's a big problem.
It is a big problem.
However,
There's also this fascinating counter-trend emerging,
yes,
the boomissance.
the boomissance, yeah,
I've heard about this.
it's a thing.
Baby boomers are now reaching their senior years
They are.
and are a major economic force.
They are, yeah.
But how does this, translate to real-world implications?
Right.
It's not like everyone is going to start investing in retirement homes.
Not necessarily, no.
Oh.
But think about it. I mean,
No.
boomers are driving new markets.
Okay.
Everything from travel
Mhm.
and leisure. Yeah.
To healthcare and technology,
Okay.
they have different needs
Right.
and spending habits
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
previous generation.
Okay.
So understanding this shift
Yeah.
is crucial for making informed decisions
Okay.
about careers
Yeah.
and investments.
That's a great point.
It is.
So if I'm thinking about my own career path,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I should be considering industries catering to this,
Yeah.
older, wealthier demographic.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
What specific sectors come to mind?
Well, it's a diverse landscape,
Okay.
but areas like personalized healthcare,
Hmm.
travel experiences geared towards active seniors,
Okay.
even financial services tailored for retirement planning,
Interesting.
all poised for growth.
All poised for growth.
Yeah.
The book then dives into Africa,
Good.
challenging the assumption that the continent will have sky-high fertility rates forever.
Forever.
Yeah. They argue that urbanization, education, and technology are changing the game there, too.
Right. It is. Things are changing rapidly.
It feels like Africa is often painted with, like, a broad brush, though.
It is. It's a huge continent.
Yeah.
So much diversity.
Are there regional differences we should be aware of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Africa's not a monolith.
Right.
Each country and region has its own unique story and demographic trends.
Okay.
The book uses Kenya as a fascinating example.
Oh, interesting.
Kenya's undergoing rapid urbanization, and even ancient traditions like the dowry system are adapting to these changes.
I'm unfamiliar with the dowry system.
Okay.
Could you explain how it works?
Sure. So traditionally, a dowry is a payment from the bride's family to the groom's family upon marriage.
Okay, I see.
In Kenya, as women become more educated and economically independent, their value in the dowry system is changing.
Interesting.
A woman with a college degree and a good job is seen as bringing more to the table.
So that's shifting the power dynamic a little bit.
It is. It's really fascinating to see.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
It shows how economic and social changes are interwoven with cultural traditions.
They are. You can't separate them.
Are these changes impacting family sizes in Kenya?
Yes, we are seeing later marriages and smaller families as women prioritize education and career aspirations.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's turn our attention to two demographic giants, China and India.
Two very different stories there.
The book tells two very different stories here.
Yeah.
Yes, China's one-child policy, while officially over, has had a profound impact.
It really has.
Leaving the country with a rapidly aging and shrinking population.
Rapidly, yeah.
I know the economic consequences are huge.
They are, yeah.
But are there broader,
for sure,
social and cultural ramifications to this?
Yeah.
And how might it impact China's standing?
I mean, that's the big question on the global stage.
Yeah, will they lose?
Potentially, yeah.
Global power.
It's a complex issue.
Okay.
With far-reaching consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, the shrinking workforce and the strain on the social safety net are already being felt culturally.
Yeah.
The gender imbalance resulting from a preference for male children is another major concern.
Right.
Geopolitically, I mean, this decline could challenge China's ambitions to be a global superpower as its economic and military power potentially weakens.
So a weakened China?
Potentially, yeah.
What does that mean for the rest of the world? For global power dynamics?
That's the multi-million-dollar question.
It's a lot to process.
It is, it is.
Turning to India, it seems they're on a different trajectory.
Yeah, very different.
While their population will eventually peak,
it will, yeah.
They're not facing the same rapid decline as China.
No, not at all.
Right.
Urbanization and changing social norms are also happening in India, though at a different pace.
Yeah.
The book offers a glimpse into the lives of women in a Delhi slum.
Oh, wow.
Where even amidst poverty,
they're
gaining access to education and technology.
That's a powerful example.
It is.
What stood out to me in that excerpt was the women's use of smartphones.
Oh, yeah.
To connect with the world and access information.
It's amazing what they can do with those phones.
How is technology impacting their lives and choices?
It's playing a huge role.
Yeah.
Access to information and communication is empowering women to make different choices about their lives. They're delaying marriage, prioritizing education, and seeking economic opportunities beyond traditional roles.
That's really amazing.
It is. It's pretty inspiring.
So is India poised to fill the gap that China might leave behind?
Possibly. Yeah, it's certainly a possibility.
Could they become the next economic and geopolitical powerhouse?
It's certainly possible.
Wow.
India has a young and growing population.
Right.
And if they can harness that potential through education and economic development, they could indeed become a major force in the 21st century.
These demographic shifts in China and India are going to have ripple effects across the planet.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of the key things we should be paying attention to?
Well, we need to watch how these changes impact global trade, political alliances, even cultural influence.
Wow.
The world is interconnected.
Yeah.
And these shifts in population will create new opportunities and challenges for everyone.
Speaking of global shifts, another critical factor to consider is migration.
Right.
The book argues that immigration is crucial to offsetting population decline in many developed nations.
It is.
Yes, but it's a complex issue.
It is, very
With a lot of political baggage.
Loaded.
We're seeing growing resistance to immigration in many parts of the world, despite its potential benefits.
Despite its potential benefits, yeah.
It seems like the political climate surrounding immigration is incredibly charged right now.
It's a hot-button issue.
Especially in countries like the U.S. and Europe.
Absolutely.
How do these anti-immigration sentiments play into the bigger picture of population decline?
Well, that's a critical question.
Yeah.
You know, if countries close their doors to immigrants, it could exacerbate the economic and social challenges of a shrinking population.
Right. So it's almost like shooting yourself in the foot.
It could be, yeah.
It raises the question, are these countries willing to face the consequences of their policies in the long run?
That's the big question.
It's a conversation we can't afford to ignore.
No, we can't.
The choices we make today will have long-lasting consequences for the future.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
The book then highlights Canada as a country that has embraced immigration for decades.
They have, yeah.
It seems like they've seen some success with this approach.
They have, yeah. And their population is projected to keep growing.
It is, yeah.
Canada's experience is definitely worth examining.
It is.
They've built a reputation as a multicultural society.
They have, yeah.
And their immigration policies have contributed to economic growth and social stability.
But is it a model that can be replicated everywhere?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
What are the benefits and challenges of Canada's approach to multiculturalism?
Okay, so Canada has benefited from its vast landmass, relatively small population, and history of welcoming newcomers. However, even Canada faces challenges, particularly in regions where anxieties about cultural identity and economic competition are more pronounced.
So it's not a perfect system?
No system is perfect.
No, of course not.
But they've done a lot of things right.
So is multiculturalism even a viable solution in a world where anxieties about cultural identity are on the rise?
It's a complex issue.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Right.
But Canada's experience shows that with clear communication, strong social safety nets, and a commitment to fostering intercultural dialogue, it's possible to create a society that embraces diversity while preserving its unique cultural heritage.
It's a tightrope walk, for sure.
It is.
But it's a walk that more and more countries will need to take.
Yeah, I think so.
As they grapple with the realities of a shrinking planet and an increasingly diverse population.
It's the reality of the 21st century.
The book then delves into a topic that's often overlooked in discussions about population decline, cultural extinction. As populations shrink, they suggest that we could see the loss of unique languages, traditions, and ways of life.
It's a real concern.
The book gives the example of the Isle of Man, a small island nation struggling to preserve its language and culture.
Yeah, it's a tough battle.
Amidst declining birth rates and immigration,
they're facing an uphill battle, for sure.
That example really resonated with me.
Yeah, it's a powerful one.
It made me think about indigenous populations around the world.
Yeah.
Are they facing similar challenges as their numbers dwindle?
Absolutely. I mean, many indigenous communities are grappling with the loss of language, traditional knowledge, and cultural practices.
It's a loss for all of humanity when these unique expressions of human experience disappear.
It is, yeah.
It's a reminder that cultural diversity is a precious resource that needs to be protected.
Absolutely.
But why does this matter? What's lost when a language or a way of life fades away?
Well, you know, we lose a part of our shared human heritage. Each culture offers a unique perspective, a different way of seeing the world, and a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that has been accumulated over generations. When a culture disappears, we lose that perspective, that knowledge, that connection to our past.
It's a loss that goes beyond economics or politics.
It does.
It's a loss of something deeply human.
For sure.
Something that enriches our understanding of the world and ourselves.
Absolutely.
And as we move towards a world of smaller, older cultures,
Mm-hmm.
it's more important than ever.
Yeah, I agree.
To recognize the value of cultural diversity.
Absolutely.
And to support efforts to preserve these unique expressions of human experience.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, let's turn our attention to the future.
Okay.
What lies ahead in a world shaped by population decline?
Big question.
What can we anticipate?
Well, one thing that's certain is that we'll be living longer.
Okay.
But longer lifespans present both opportunities and challenges.
So longer lifespans sound great.
They do on the surface.
On the surface, yeah.
But what are some of the challenges we need to prepare for?
Well, we'll need to rethink our approach to work.
Okay.
Retirement, healthcare, and elder care.
Right.
Traditional models,
Based on shorter lifespans.
Right.
Simply won't be sustainable in a world where people are living and working for decades longer.
It seems like our entire societal structure is built around a certain lifespan.
Yeah.
And longer lifespans are going to require a complete reimagining of how we live, work, and age.
Absolutely. A paradigm shift.
The book dives into the potential need for increased retirement ages to maintain a sufficient workforce and ensure the solvency of Social Security systems.
Huge issue.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's already a hot-button issue in many countries.
It is, yeah.
And with longer lifespans, it's only going to become more pressing.
Absolutely, no doubt.
What other areas need a rethink?
Well, they also explore the complex ethical and economic questions surrounding elder care.
Okay.
Particularly as the ratio of working-age adults to senior citizens continues to decline.
Right.
It's a challenge that will require creative solutions.
Yeah.
And a willingness to invest in the well-being of our aging population.
It's a reminder that longer lifespans aren't just about individual longevity.
Right.
They have profound societal implications.
They do.
They emphasize the need for individuals to take greater responsibility for their own health and financial well-being as they plan for longer, more active lives.
It's not just about sitting on the porch and rocking,
So it's not just about governments and institutions adapting.
Yeah.
Individuals also need to be proactive.
Absolutely.
In planning for a longer lifespan.
Yeah.
But the book also suggests that longer lifespans could have some positive consequences.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of the potential upsides they highlight?
Well, they point out that people may have the opportunity to pursue multiple careers, explore new passions, and contribute to society in different ways throughout their extended lives.
That's an interesting perspective.
It is.
Instead of like a linear career path. We might see more people reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
Acquiring new skills.
Absolutely.
And pursuing different passions throughout their lives.
Absolutely. Lifelong learning.
Yeah.
It's going to be more important than ever.
And they suggest that a society with more older, experienced individuals could lead to greater wisdom.
Yeah.
Innovation.
Yeah.
And intergenerational understanding.
Different generations.
Yeah.
Working together, sharing knowledge.
We might see a resurgence of mentorship and knowledge sharing.
Oh, so yeah.
With older generations passing on their skills and experiences to younger generations.
It's a valuable resource.
It's a hopeful vision of a future where aging is seen as a process of continued growth and contribution rather than like a decline.
Exactly, yeah. It's a chance to create a more inclusive and sustainable society, one that values the contributions of people of all ages and backgrounds.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating how Empty Planet connects these individual choices to the bigger picture like global power dynamics.
Yeah.
They spend some time analyzing how a shrinking planet might reshape the power balance, especially in the Americas.
I'm curious about that. What are they saying about the U.S., which has traditionally been a dominant force in the region?
Yeah, they point out an interesting contrast between the U.S. and its neighbors. While many developed nations are facing shrinking populations, the U.S. is projected to continue growing throughout the century. Largely due to immigration.
Okay, so are they saying this demographic advantage could actually strengthen America's position?
Yeah.
Even as other powers like China experience population decline?
Yeah, that's their argument.
Interesting.
But they also acknowledge the rising tide of anti-immigrant sentiment in the U.S. which could threaten this demographic advantage if it leads to more restrictive immigration policies.
It's that classic push and pull, isn't it?
It is.
The U.S. being built on immigration, yet constantly wrestling with anxieties about newcomers.
Exactly.
The book brings up historical parallels.
Oh, interesting.
Like the Japanese internment during World War II.
Oh, wow.
To illustrate this tension.
Yeah. Makes you think.
It's a powerful point. They argue that the backlash against immigration, particularly from Latin America, echoes these past anxieties and could have serious consequences for the U.S. economy and its global standing in the long run.
Yeah, they make a strong case.
So they're basically saying immigrants are America's secret weapon.
In a way, yeah. I mean, they make a compelling case for it.
Okay.
Arguing that immigrants contribute to economic growth, cultural dynamism, and ultimately national power.
It's a perspective that challenges the often negative narratives surrounding immigration.
It does, yeah.
It reminds me of how Canada is often held up as a model for multiculturalism and open borders.
Right, right.
Does the book compare the U.S. and Canadian approaches to immigration?
They do, and they suggest that Canada's success in integrating immigrants stems partly from its unique history and geography.
Could you elaborate on that? What makes Canada different in this regard?
Well, they point to Canada's vast landmass, relatively small population, and a long history of welcoming newcomers as factors that have created a more tolerant and accommodating society.
It's a fascinating case study.
It is, yeah.
Especially for countries grappling with the complexities of immigration in the context of population decline.
Absolutely.
But even Canada isn't without its challenges, right?
Of course not. No. They acknowledge that even Canada faces challenges, particularly in Quebec, where concerns about preserving the French language and culture have led to a more complex and at times contentious approach to immigration.
It makes you wonder if multiculturalism can truly work. In a world where anxieties about cultural identity and economic competition are on the rise.
It's a question that many societies are grappling with.
Yeah.
But Canada's experience offers some valuable lessons.
Okay.
The book emphasizes the importance of clear communication from the government.
Okay.
Strong social safety nets to support both newcomers and existing residents.
Yeah.
And a commitment to fostering intercultural dialogue to bridge divides.
Those seem like essential ingredients for creating a society that can successfully navigate the complexities of immigration and cultural integration.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So they argue that ultimately Canada's success hinges on its ability to strike a balance between preserving its unique cultural heritage and integrating newcomers into the fabric of society.
It's a tightrope walk.
It is.
But one worth striving for.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential economic and social impacts of population decline. But what about the environmental side of things? Does Empty Planet address that?
They do. And surprisingly, they suggest that population decline could have some positive environmental consequences.
Really? That's not usually the narrative we hear when it comes to environmental issues.
I know, right? But they argue that with fewer people, there's less strain on natural resources, reduced pollution, and even the possibility of reforestation as farmland is abandoned.
So a shrinking population could actually be a good thing for the planet.
Potentially, yeah.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
Are they overly optimistic?
Well...
Or is there real weight behind that argument?
It's a complex issue with many variables.
Right.
But their point is that we often focus on technological solutions to climate change while overlooking the potential impact of demographic trends.
Interesting.
It's a perspective that challenges us to think more broadly about the interconnectedness of environmental issues and human population dynamics.
It makes you wonder if some of our environmental anxieties are rooted in a fear of overpopulation. And if maybe a shrinking planet could offer some breathing room for the environment to recover.
It's an interesting thought.
It's a thought-provoking perspective.
It is.
And one that's often missing from the conversation about climate change.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm guessing they don't ignore the potential downsides of population decline either, right?
Of course not. They do acknowledge concerns about the economic consequences of a shrinking workforce.
Right.
And the challenges of caring for an aging population.
Yeah.
Particularly as the ratio of working-age adults to senior citizens continues to decline.
Those are valid concerns.
Yeah.
It seems like finding the right balance between addressing the needs of an aging population while ensuring a vibrant and productive workforce will be crucial in a shrinking world.
Absolutely. Finding that balance is going to be key.
And they also touch on a more philosophical question.
Okay.
What does it mean for humanity if our numbers start to dwindle?
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a question that forces us to confront our place in the world and the legacy we leave behind.
It's a question we haven't really had to grapple with before.
It's a big question. And it makes me think about the concept of cultural extinction that we discussed earlier. Does the book delve deeper into the potential loss of cultural diversity as populations shrink?
They do. They highlight the risks of losing unique languages, traditions, and ways of life as smaller, more isolated populations struggle to maintain their cultural heritage.
It's a reminder that population decline isn't just about numbers.
Right.
It's about people, about cultures, about the richness and diversity of the human tapestry.
It's about what makes us human.
Exactly. And they also point to the risk of increased loneliness and social isolation.
Oh, yeah.
In a world with fewer people.
That's a real concern.
It's a potential consequence that we need to consider as we navigate this demographic shift.
Absolutely. We can't just focus on the economic and political implications.
Right.
We have to think about the human impact as well.
It makes you wonder if we'll need to find new ways to build and maintain social connections in a world with fewer people.
It's a good question, and I don't think anyone has the answer yet.
But the book ends on a note of hope.
Okay.
Suggesting that a shrinking planet could also lead to a greater appreciation for human connection.
Yeah, maybe.
And a renewed focus on community building.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, when something becomes scarce, we tend to value it more.
That's a hopeful thought. It suggests that we might find new and creative ways to foster a sense of belonging and connection, even as our numbers decline.
It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even amidst global challenges, there's always the possibility for positive change.
Absolutely.
For adaptation, and for the resilience of the human spirit.
Humans are incredibly adaptable. We've overcome challenges in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm confident we can do it again.
The book then circles back to the broader demographic trends shaping the future, and they spend some time discussing the increasing longevity of the human lifespan.
Right, right.
They point out that people born today can expect to live much longer than previous generations.
It's true, yeah.
With some experts predicting lifespans exceeding 100 years, becoming the norm by mid-century.
It's mind-boggling to think about.
It's a trend with profound implications.
Absolutely.
Longer lifespans might sound appealing.
On the surface, yeah.
But they present a host of challenges.
You do.
Both for individuals and for society as a whole.
Yeah, for everyone.
What are some of the key challenges they highlight?
Well, they argue that we need to rethink our approach to work.
Okay.
Retirement, healthcare, and elder care.
Right.
Traditional models based on shorter lifespans simply won't be sustainable in a world where people are living and working for decades longer.
It seems like our entire societal structure is built around a certain lifespan.
It is, yeah.
And longer lifespans are going to require a complete reimagining of how we live, work, and age.
Absolutely. It's a paradigm shift.
They delve into the potential need for increased retirement ages.
Right.
To maintain a sufficient workforce.
Yeah.
And ensure the solvency of Social Security system.
I think a big one.
That's a big one.
Yep.
It's already a hot-button issue in many countries.
It is.
And with longer lifespans.
It's only going to get more contentious.
It's only going to become more pressing. What other areas need a rethink?
Well, they also explore the complex ethical and economic questions surrounding elder care.
Okay.
Particularly as the ratio of working-age adults to senior citizens continues to decline.
Right.
It's a challenge that will require creative solutions.
Yeah.
And a willingness to invest in the well-being of our aging population.
It's a reminder that longer lifespans aren't just about individual longevity.
Right.
They have profound societal implications.
They do, yeah.
And they emphasize the need for individuals to take greater responsibility for their own health.
And financial well-being as they plan for longer, more active lives.
It's not just about retiring at 65 and taking it easy.
So it's not just about governments and institutions adapting.
Yeah.
Individuals also need to be proactive in planning for a longer lifespan.
Absolutely. We all have a role to play.
But the book also suggests that longer lifespans could have some positive consequences.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of the potential upsides they highlight?
Well, they point out that people may have the opportunity to pursue multiple careers, explore new passions, and contribute to society in different ways throughout their extended lives.
That's an interesting perspective. Instead of a linear career path, we might see more people reinventing themselves, acquiring new skills.
Absolutely.
And pursuing different passions throughout their lives.
It's a whole new way of thinking about aging.
And they suggest that a society with more older, experienced individuals could lead to greater wisdom, innovation,
and intergenerational understanding.
It's about harnessing the potential of all generations.
We might see a resurgence of mentorship and knowledge sharing.
Yeah, I hope so.
With older generations passing on their skills and experiences to younger generations.
You would be ashamed to lose that wealth of knowledge and experience.
It's a hopeful vision of a future where aging is seen as a process of continued growth and contribution rather than a decline.
Exactly. It's about embracing aging as a natural part of life.
Precisely. And it's a reminder that demographic shifts, while presenting challenges, also create new opportunities for growth.
They do.
Adaptation, and the evolution of human society.
It's about seeing change as a chance to innovate and create something new.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Empty Planet, what are the key takeaways for the listener? What are the most important things for them to consider as they navigate a world shaped by population decline?
One of the most striking takeaways is the sheer scale and scope of this demographic shift. Population decline isn't just a regional trend. It's a global phenomenon with far-reaching implications for every aspect of our lives.
It's a reminder that we're living through a truly historic moment.
We are.
A time of profound demographic change that will reshape the world as we know it.
Yeah, it's a turning point in human history.
Absolutely. And the book challenges us to confront long-held assumptions about population growth and to think critically about the consequences of a shrinking planet.
We can't just keep doing things the way we've always done them.
It's a call to action, urging us to engage in thoughtful dialogue about how we can adapt and thrive in a world that looks very different from the one we're accustomed to.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. And they highlight the importance of individual choices, particularly when it comes to family planning, career paths, and financial planning in a world where longevity is increasing and traditional models are being disrupted.
We need to be prepared for a longer, more fluid life.
It's about empowering individuals to take control of their own futures and to make informed decisions that align with the realities of a shrinking planet.
It's about taking ownership of our own lives.
And they emphasize the need for collective action. For governments and communities to work together to create sustainable solutions to the challenges posed by population decline.
We need to work together to find solutions.
It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
We are.
And that addressing the complexities of a shrinking planet will require collaboration, innovation, and a willingness to adapt to a changing world.
It's about embracing change and seeing it as an opportunity.
They offer a powerful reminder that demographic trends are not destiny. We have the agency to shape the future.
We do.
To adapt to change, and to create a world that is both prosperous and equitable.
Absolutely.
Even as our numbers begin to dwindle.
It's about choosing the future we want.
That's a powerful message of hope and empowerment.
It is.
It reminds us that we have the power to shape the future we want, even amidst the challenges of a shrinking planet.
We have the power to create a better world.
Exactly. And they leave us with a sense of hope, a belief that human ingenuity and resilience can overcome the challenges of a shrinking planet.
We've done it before.
And lead us toward a brighter future.
I'm optimistic.
Now, as we conclude this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What stands out to you as the most significant takeaway from this exploration of population decline?
What insights resonated most deeply? And what questions are you left pondering?
We encourage you to continue this conversation. To delve deeper into the issues raised by Empty Planet.
Absolutely.
And to share your perspectives with others.
It's the conversation that needs to be had.
You know, it's fascinating to consider how these massive demographic shifts could actually reshape the world in unexpected ways. The book touches on this, suggesting that a world with fewer people might lead to some surprising outcomes. One of the most intriguing ideas is that a shrinking population could actually contribute to a more peaceful world.
It's an interesting thought.
With less competition for resources and territory, there might be fewer drivers of conflict.
Fewer things to fight over, yeah.
That's a thought-provoking idea.
It is.
It makes you wonder if some of the geopolitical tensions we see today are fueled by anxieties about overpopulation and scarcity.
Yeah, I could see that.
Could a shrinking planet ease those pressures?
It's certainly a possibility worth considering.
They also bring up the idea of a potential future baby boom.
Oh, interesting.
But not driven by economic necessity like the one after World War II.
Right, right.
I'm intrigued. What would trigger a baby boom in a world where population decline is the norm?
Well, they suggest it could be a response to a growing sense of loneliness and isolation.
Yeah.
In a world with fewer people, the human need for connection and community could become even more pronounced.
Okay.
Leading to a resurgence in family formation.
That's a fascinating twist.
Oh, yeah.
On the traditional baby boom narrative, it speaks to a deep-seated human desire for connection that transcends economic or political factors.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
We need each other.
The book also delves into the potential environmental benefits of a shrinking planet. We touched on this earlier, but could you elaborate on their argument that population decline could be a key factor in mitigating climate change?
Sure. So they argue that a shrinking population could lead to a significant reduction in our environmental footprint.
Okay.
Less consumption, less waste, less strain on resources. It all adds up to a lighter impact on the planet.
So are they suggesting that population decline is the solution to climate change?
No, I don't think they're saying that. It's not a magic bullet.
Right.
But they are challenging us to rethink our assumptions about population growth and its impact on the environment.
Yeah.
They argue that a shrinking population combined with technological advancements and a shift towards more sustainable practices could create a pathway towards a healthier planet.
It's a reminder that we need to consider all the factors at play when addressing complex issues like climate change.
Absolutely. It's not a simple problem.
No.
And there's no simple solution.
Demographic trends, technological innovation, and social behavior all intersect in ways that we're only beginning to understand.
It's a complex web of interconnected factors.
As we wrap up our deep dive into Empty Planet, I'm struck by the book's nuanced and thought-provoking approach.
I agree.
To this complex issue. It doesn't shy away from the challenges of a shrinking planet.
No, it doesn't sugarcoat things.
But it also offers a sense of hope and possibility.
I think that's important.
It encourages us to think critically and creatively about how we can adapt to a changing world and create a future that is both sustainable and fulfilling.
Absolutely. It's about finding solutions that work for both people and the planet.
Exactly. And ultimately, they remind us that the future is not predetermined.
Right.
We have the power to shape it through our choices, our actions, and our collective will.
It's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
So what is the one message you hope listeners take away from our deep dive into Empty Planet?
I hope they come away with a sense of informed empowerment. Population decline is a significant trend.
Yeah.
But it's not an insurmountable challenge.
Okay.
By understanding the forces at play and engaging in thoughtful dialogue, we can navigate this shift and create a future that is both prosperous and equitable.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
It's a reminder that even in the face of global challenges, we have the capacity for innovation, adaptation, and resilience.
Humans are incredibly resourceful. When we work together, we can overcome almost anything.
And remember, this deep dive has just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
Empty Planet goes into much greater detail.
It does.
And I encourage the listeners to explore the book further.
Yeah, definitely.
And draw their own conclusions.
It's a book that will stay with you long after you finish reading it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Empty Planet. We hope it's given you some food for thought.
Yeah, me too.
And sparked some interesting conversations.
Hopefully.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.